Yo yo yo, welcome to episode 18 of my playthrough of Europa on Stationeer difficulty. Boy, that was a ride, wasn't it? To find out how rocketry works in creative, and then my first steps here, and that was just frustrating and bullshit, and I was actually, like I said in that short video about the bugs, I felt like dropping this whole thing altogether. I mean, if the Rocketworks team is that negligent when it comes to development, which they are, sorry, I mean, it has been out for 2 years now, the rocket update, and is still so broken. I hope they really fix this now when they, make the orbital stations, which apparently they're working on, because then people need to use the crew module, which is already half in the game. It cannot be spawned yet, but it's mentioned in the Stationpedia. So that people can fly into orbit, you know. Then you would go in there and you fly into orbit, and then you can build the orbital station, is my understanding. And then I thought maybe I have to get into rocketry now for the Stationeers news and all of that, and then, god damn it. I mean, I was really feeling that it was not just I'm angry now, you're not worthy of my time. Worthy of my time? I am the one who is benefiting from Stationeers, not the other way around. But even if Stationeers gets something out of it, I don't know, but I'm the one having fun here, or had fun until that frustration. But I have found solutions to all of those bugs, I think, so we can now basically deal with this. And so we're now at episode 18. Okay, still some fuel in the tank. The volume pump, of course, is becoming less and less efficient the less volume there is, because its shoveling hands can grab fewer and fewer molecules. How much volume, how much gas do we have in here? A pressure of 7 megapascals. During my adventurous tests, I had used the AdGas command to get this thing here up to 50 megapascals, which is like 7 times this. And then I was able to explore some of the space map and so forth and fly around. In other words, I'm not sure if the fuel that we have in here will even be enough to get us into orbit. And that was actually also where then the problem arose last time, you know? Because I was looking at the wrong numbers. What's your mistake then? No, it was not my mistake. I was using numbers that make sense, but their numbers don't make sense. Still pumping some stuff. So what am I talking about? Well, I had decided for this thing to go to orbit, and then I had turned on the engine. Oh, it's already on. And then I turned on the volume pump, which is way too high like this. I had set it very low, and then I said, okay, start flying, and the altitude increased and increased and increased. But somehow the ETA was not counting down as much as I would have hoped. I mean, it was basically stagnant or whatever. Then I turned off the volume pump for a moment to see what would happen, and then it immediately said current location orbit, target location none, or target location launch mount maybe. And ETA was -1 second, and then when I turned it back on again, it didn't do anything. So it was really just broken, and I thought, god damn it, what the fuck is this? But the truth is, this thing was still in flight, and what I had to do is set the target velocity. There was a target velocity here, like 400 meters, and I have to match or reach the target velocity, and I had not enough target velocity here. And to recover from this, I mean, so I could have just flown there still. Except, actually, okay, I'm a bit undecided. I mean, it's a complex bug landscape here, so forgive me for just having found another puzzle piece that I actually haven't yet answered. So, well, let's find out then. Fuck around, find out. So, nothing more in there. Okay, then we can turn off the volume pump. Saving some power. And save the game. Retract the umbilicals. This will do nothing if I don't click it correctly. This will retract this one, and this will retract this one. If I don't do that, I can launch the rocket, but the umbilicals here will be destroyed. And I can launch the rocket like this. I don't have to close it. I don't know if closing it does anything or helps or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so let's go and say current location launch mount, target location Europa orbit, turn on the engine, and the volume pump is set to 0.1, which is not 1/10 No, it's 1/100th. You know, normally you set the volume pump with that little wheel there, and then you can set it to 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. And but with logic, which is what this is effectively, you can set it in smaller steps. So fly, baby. What? Why is it not flying? Oh right, I forgot. I now have a much lower inherent pressure because there's not so much in the tanks. I mean, look at this, it's basically nothing. So we have a thrust of 0.35 kilonewtons, which is nothing. Now we have 3 kilonewtons, which is something. And so the dude is flying. Cool. I mean, they developed rocketry to like 80-90% of what it should be, and then they stopped. And the parts that they have developed, very good. And that the stuff that they haven't developed, well, that expresses in the bugs. And also expresses in the inconsistency. Because, I mean, the planetary gravitation doesn't decrease, even though this thing is flying higher and higher. Here you can see the fuel, so it's being pumped away and not good. The thrust is 2.7 kilonewtons, is falling because the pressure in the tank is falling, and so what's coming out of the volume pump is falling, and so the maximum I have achieved is 16.1 with this engine, which is the pressure-fed gas engine. But the weight of the rocket is its tonnage here, combined with the planet's gravity, which should, by the way, be decreasing, like, well, because this thing is flying away. And so that leads to this weight in kilonewtons, and this is the kilonewtons that we're pushing, so this thing is actually flying. Now we have reached this ground velocity, but I have to reach 400, and this countdown here reflects that. You can see that this number is counting up now, because it's already feeling basically that the thrust loss that we have, let's just kick in the balls here, is so strong that we're not ever arriving there. And still not, so I just have too little fuel in that thing. It's just not, there's just not enough fuel. So I will now turn off the engine. Actually turn off, oh, I forgot to turn these guys off. Just like this. And then I let it fall again. Current location Europa orbit. Target location launch mount. And that's indeed what it is. Now that it was still ascending, and I've interrupted the engine, it will just fall down again. So in a way, the target location is a launch mount. But this is not a proper display. Anyway, if you want to walk about all those bugs, I'm just uploading a video. It's currently crunching. It is... oh, high definition complete? Well then, public, done, save. Published, okay, have fun. So this is now descending. Will now begin to descend. The upwards push is still strong, and then it will start falling, and that will be... is it still moving here? Yeah, but it's pretending as if it's reaching that, but it will never reach that. It will never reach that. See, that's the key. The target velocity would be 400 meters per second if I had still the Europa orbit set as the target, but I have not. And as long as I'm lower than that, I cannot ever reach it, no matter what this stupid thing here displays. That is actually, that's my experience in these like 7-8 hours of experimenting with rockets and with these stupid problems. So, the rocket will now fall down, and it will eventually then reach a velocity that will not allow me to break its fall. And I believe I will not be able to do that, period, because look at the little bit of fuel that's left. That's not enough. Maybe I should just reload, huh? But this shows that what I need is high pressure in my fuel tank, and so I need more fuel. And so the first thing that I have to develop is actually the fuel mixing station, which is underway already. That's the thing over here. That is empty. We'll have volatiles. I need shredder still, ice crusher. That will be the computer. That has already the IC10 editor motherboard. It doesn't? Okay, so that's the next thing to do then. And the chip is already eating power, because I rather use too much power than too little, so that I can guesstimate what's going on with my batteries. Well, and soon it will start falling again, and I think it's pretty much impossible to stop the fall with that little fuel that we have left. And then it will crash land and will destroy the landing mount and will itself also be completely destroyed. See, now it's beginning to fall. And it will take eons. Except if I just do a suicide burn, which is we let this thing fall and fall and fall and fall until kind of the last moments, and then we say now step on the gas, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, touchdown. But with this amount of fuel, impossible. So since that is so completely hopeless, let me just use that experience that I basically cheatingly acquired, and play this for real now, make the fuel mixer. That's where we're at. Orbit timescale 0.03. Just taking a look at my video list here. Any news? Is this already showing? Aha, 2 likes, 4 views. That's cool. By the way, the video is called Stationeers How To Rocketry on beta in question mark is a horribly broken mess. But you can work around that. And actually forgot to put it on a playlist. Let's see, how Stationeers How To done save. Okay, done. Yo, now this will keep. Where are we? I think I saved after turning this off. But I didn't yet retract these guys, and that makes sense because as long as the uplink is running, there will be power consumption of the battery. Let's actually, I'm not 100% sure if that's the reason. Let's be 100% sure by using the configuration cartridge. Here's the battery. Currently it is at maximum charge. And let me remove the umbilical. What happens if I turn this off, by the way? Will this mean that it is already no longer being charged, or does it only mean that the umbilical is not operable? Power potential. I wonder why that is. Why is the power potential changing? What is this? I wonder, is this related to me switching something off? Is it like a like a capacitor which is now falling to 0 or whatever? What is this? Aha, now the charge is decreasing. So I guess the umbilical has some kind of capacitor kind of thing in it, or maybe this umbilical where the power is received, though that would then show there, no? Umbilical socket, power, reference ID, prefab hash, no, none of that. I don't know, anyway, we're currently consuming power per game tick 60 or something. Let me turn off the avionics, which consume 10 watts. And then we have, 50 watts consumption. So let me turn off the downlink. Is that even turn offable? It's not. But, I mean, we're engineers, right? We can turn anything off. Which is the most reasonable approach here. Ah, yeah. And now it's no longer discharging. So yeah, the downlink is the one that consumes 50 watts. In other words, leave the umbilical as it is until you actually want to launch the rocket. Because else the battery is already in the process of discharging and there's no way to turn the music. What are you doing? And there's no way to turn the downlink off. No, not this. This shreds my ears. Ah, okay. Bit loud, maybe. Okay, resuming playthrough. And this pipe was pretty redonkulous because configuration cartridge. because it's not insulated, so eventually the volatiles were liquefying. And some of that is still here, and there's no way for me to get that out. And it's getting colder and colder, and eventually it will just destroy the pipe. Yep, so we need insulated pipes here. It's the only way. Is this a storm, maybe? Nope. Green light. There was a green light caged in whatever that is. So I see editor motherboard required. We need to get rid of the alert that just popped up on my screen. We need to reload the page that shows my list of videos. And there we see 3 likes with 6 views. That's a ridiculously high score, man. But you know, there's some early adopter type kind of subscribers, thank you guys, who are pretty strong when it comes to, oh, a video pop up, let me just, oh, let's play this guy, let me take a look at the video, and here's your upvote. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna suck, oh, this is actually the wrong way around, is it? No, it's not. We're gonna suck from the EUROPA air oxygen. I will not use a gas mixer for this, because I want to be independent of the temperature, because the... Okay, it's a bit too lively. Higher than God? Good luck with that. I want to be independent of the temperature, and the gas mixer is dependent of the temperature. It works in pressure, in amounts, it's working like a volume pump. It's not counting moles. So we need an ice crusher and an IC editor motherboard. And what is this? A pipe analyzer. Good. Maybe I should also fetch a locker. I got some extra lockers.
Hunger caution.
Always good to have some. Ice crusher. Should be here in the atmospheric stuff, huh? Ice crusher, okay. And then the IC editor motherboard. And the locker. Haha. Station. Radio station. Yeah, I can put this one up again. That was where I fetched the fuel tank from the corner, where it had been resting until I used it up just now. How do I want to achieve the actual fuel mix? I guess I will use volume pumps again. Volume pumps? No, I need one volume pump. No, yeah, vol pump. Kit volume pump. And I did want to bring a locker. That's why I went back here. Except I should have went back here. There we have lockers. Go away. Ice crusher. Volume pump. And now I'm full. Oh, maybe I should, I'm talking about which. I should drink a little. And eat a little. And take a little look at the little plants. Soybean seeds. Soybeans are ready for harvest. And wheat is thriving towards fruiting. Let's harvest the soybeans. Yeah, so much faster. Thanks for the tips, guys. With that mouse pointer thing. Oh, I turned it off. Oh. Yet another bug. The game is so very buggy. A few of those bugs are fatal, or are there any fatal bugs? But dude. I want to find something out, and that is... where did I toss the volume pump there? And that is, can I stack these two? 11 milliliters, 30 milliliters, that's 24. And 9, that's 33. Ah, you can stack them. Cool. And with flour, I would assume also. Or I think I actually tested this already, I'm not sure. Yep, 90. Yeah. How about oxygen is fine. This could be released once more. And then the propellant, well, I will certainly need that at some point.
Jetpack
So let's refill that, but for now we are bound to the ground. What is this? Why do I have plastic sheets on me? Did I dismantle something somewhere? Not sure. I wonder if this thing would be faster if it would be like in this place. Because this might be sucking from this atmosphere and maybe it's kind of going around in circles. Rocket. There should be lights here too, I know, but I'm not sure yet where to place them. Actually, why am I not sure yet where to place them? It's pretty clear where there's space and where there isn't. There's space, there's ground. Did I bring the locker? I did. Where do I place it? I don't. No, I mean, yes, I don't know. Oh, that's my own personal implementation of the composite roll cover. Yeah, you saw it here first. Patent pending. Save. Pause. Switch over to list. 6 views, 3 likes. 10 views, 3 likes. So that was probably this early adopter thing. IC editor. Then maybe I should have some lamps in here, because this is no way to work. Also, I wanted to place some lamps out there. And also we have this here, the door, which I would have to... is it already... one plastic sheets? Huh. How did this come to pass? Still need glass though. What's this? A hallucination, that's what it is. Insulated pipes would be needed here. I have insulated pipes nearby. And then we have the crusher. Wesley, where are you? And I will just place that here. So it can crush up into this pipe, and from here we go. I mean, normally I would take one pipe and then there's a pump here and so forth, but I have learned now. Use more space for things. Like I have been telling people in one of my German playthrough videos, this here is literal possibility space, just like in reality, and if you puzzle it too tightly, you're taking away possibilities, options. How do we continue building this? Welding torch, 1 iron sheets. Peasantry. So fetch some lights and 1 iron sheets. Do I have enough cables? I think so for this particular endeavor. Do I still have enough cables in the station? I don't know. Views, 3 likes. That's a cable coil. Would be cool to fly into the orbit and get some copper from there, but we're not there yet, definitely not. And I mean, the most efficient engine, of course, is not the stupid gas engine. That will be wasting so much fuel. And where will I get the volatiles for that? From orbit? I don't know if that's feasible. I haven't tried this yet. I mean, I've heard bad things about that. Like, rocketry is awesome and all that, but ultimately it's not worth it, you know? And maybe that's true. Maybe the balancing is off there. Anyway. 1 iron sheet. Then we can complete the crusher. Pipes I have. Pipe analyzer. Volatiles, I have some on me at least. Maybe I should bring some more. How many volatiles do I have actually? Yeah, not gloriously many. But here I have some. Okay, so I get those volatiles in that tank. The tank will then pump with the pump, not this one, into some kind of premix. Ah, we need some kind of container for the fuel that I will then pump into the rocket. And though I'm not sure, I could just use the pipe that goes to the rocket, which will be a relatively large volume, as the premix volume, because that will be easily 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, like 30, 40 pipes, so 400 liters. That is already not nothing, but still, I mean, let's bring 4 pipe utilities, actually insulated ones, so we can make 2 of these tanks, which is 500 liters then, and is still part of the same pipe, so it would be very fast. "13 views, 4 likes. Did I? Oh yeah, I wanted to bring some lights. I would say 6. And where will I place them? On the ground or in the air? Somewhere? I would say on the ground. Oh, that's 4. And now for the 6th one. Definitely something wrong with Stationeers' sound engine, man. Or is it only because the station has become so elaborate? Because I have few data points on that front, even after like 2,300 hours or what it is by now. Yeah, this seems like the right understatement. This other one I will place differently so that we can get a feeling of whether that's relevant. Aha. I will need more cables. It doesn't appear to matter, really. Or does it? This one lights more from directly below. This one more from over yonder. Not sure. I would say place another light on this side, even further away, for greater contrast. So that we learn the facts. And then be annoyed, for the cables will not last. Fuck! Need to print cables. I don't have too much copper in my locker though. How are we doing power-wise? Okay, we have a lot of battery power here, but we also have a lot of draw by now. So it appears that I am actually overburdening my power generation. If I build just a bunch more batteries, then the next storm would definitely help with that. And then we live from storm to storm. That's an option. Ah, there it is, the solid fuel generator. So I still have that guy. What I could also do is I could pipe over some power from here. This guy with 50,000 watts will now hand over power to the other battery room. That's what the purpose of this thing is. Do I have copper still? Not here. Okay, I don't have enough copper. Okay, let's just use one of them then. That's annoying. I need to really go on the hunt for copper. Could of course just use the glasses, right? Except I can't print them yet. Yeah, one battery is now completely empty. Yeah, this light in the floor is annoying me. But there's no other room here where I could place it. Even if I would have a place on the wall, I would still need a second place for the cable. Because this is on a different power network. This is not on the Alox power network.
Power critical.
That lights the rocket well, and the light is reaching into the rocket. Can we see that shadow casting wise? I think so. I mean, it's awesome. Imagine I mean, for us, it's completely natural that shadows are being cast and light flows around because we're looking at reality, but the universe has kind of more processing power than a computer, and so we are just putting up a bunch of light sources that have all this complex shit here, which isn't even baked, but is dynamic objects. And, and still we have proper shadow casting and basically real-time rendering. Not bad. So this one's very close. What's the shadow casting situation here? We can see that here. And in there, yeah, this is a shadow cast by the chassis. So further away seems to be the way to go. This one, of course, makes it brighter here, I guess, than this one, which is further away. But it's good enough, and if you have light from all four sides... Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. I will place them far away. What the fuck is manifesting? Oh, shit. I'm about to lose all my fuel. Condensation is happening in the pipe. Is there any remedy right now? I wonder if the tank can take it. Because if the tank can take it, I will just have to remove the pipes, which will then magically close up the rest of the thing. Okay, that didn't really solve the problem, did it? Yeah, well, losing a little bit. Why can I not reach this? Yeah, I want to put insulated pipes here. And what about this guy? Is it just impervious to such damage? I mean, that doesn't really help, does it? Because the liquid is still there, so I can no longer get it out. I don't know what to do about this. I mean, EUROPA just cools it down, and so we get more and more liquid here. What could I do? Can I pump this out? Of course, I mean, I can just put a volume pump here and pump it, but where? Into an insulated container? Into something that heats? Oh, something that heats. But can I use, if I use a pipe heater, that pipe heater will be destroyed if the pipe explodes. Let me think. I mean, just to save this fuel, you know, I could maybe try to heat it up. And I don't know if that's possible, because the heating system would have to be stronger than the planet. The moon, I mean. Anyway, 13, 4 likes, reload. 21, 4 likes, okay. Still, that's 20% ratio, that's good. Could I pump this anywhere? Yeah, I don't think I can actually pipe something out of this rocket. Because I guess I cannot place pipes. Yeah, I cannot place pipes at the border of the chassis. By the way, basically. Which is a bit stupid if you think about it, because it looks like it could. But okay, that's just gamification and also giving the umbilicals some purpose. What I could do, of course, I could build a room around this that is warm, around this entire thing, and then I could heat this up, and then this would get warm again, and so the problem would be solved. That's the only way, really, to get this hot. Or if I could have some constant fire going on here, which I would achieve with fuel, so that wouldn't help. Not sure, I guess I'm losing this. Interesting that this tank doesn't really care about this. Is that the same for inline tanks? Do they work like this also? I don't know. The problem will only get worse. Can I fix this problem? Okay, let's make 2 pipe heaters. I want to see what that's like. Let's do some rocket science. Though, yeah, in a way. Is that atmospherics or electronics? I would assume atmospherics, because pipe. Pipe heater gas. Unnecessary. Power cable? Is there any way to construct a rocket without using the jetpack basically constantly? I don't know. Stress is reducing. Temperature is increasing. Doesn't change the fact that the pipes are in the process of dying. Maybe I would have needed more of these guys. Stress 100% is still destructive for the pipe. Ah, okay, 98%. What a moment! So this damage is at 18%, so if that pipe would have burst, that heater would have been gone. God damn it, we're solving the problem! That's awesome! I just wonder, what mass does the pipe heater contribute to the rocket? Doesn't say here, and also doesn't say that you can construct them in rockets, so that's interesting. Cool. We are solving the problem by just blasting power at it. And what a moment, right? Some of these Stationeers moments, and this one is even on record. Is it? Let's see, is this recording? Hello, 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 hello. Currently consuming. Ah, we can see the pipe heaters here. Cool. Required power 10. It's saying 10? That's never true. Let's see what the auxiliary rocket battery is saying. We're consuming 2070 watts. That's 2000 watts from the 2 pipe heaters combined. That's 70 watts from 10 watts from the avionics, 10 watts, 50 watts from the downlink, and 10 watts from I don't know what. Actually, did I turn the avionics back on? I didn't, did I? So these 10 watts, these 20 watts, are from the pipe heaters. Yeah. Yep. Okay, it all makes sense. What a wicked situation! And it was actually salvageable! Unbelievable. So let's see what happens if I turn one of these guys off. It is still getting warmer, so we're saving power, not that it really matters currently. And it's getting warmer, so we have to keep an eye on that. Why are we drifting? Is that because this is warm and there's some gas moving or whatever? 43.9 kilopascals. 43, no, it's the same. I don't know. But I'm drifting. Man, what a cool moment, right? How can we save this? By heating it up again, because cold is the problem. Huh. Let's take a look at the battery room.
Hunger caution.
If I would be so busy with the rocket right now, I should actually finally work on that fucking power system, where I would, for example, estimate what the power consumption is. So I could go, for example, and say we have a queue, for example, in the stack on the stack of the of a chip, or maybe not a queue, but some kind of snaky loop or whatever. I don't know yet, because you can really make lists in this, right? Of the power production of this system of the last, I don't know, 100 game ticks, which we then add together and summarize, which will take an entire chip, I think, because if you want that per game tick, 128 lines, you know. And then I could know what is coming in. Currently I know what's coming in, but that's the current moment. If I really want to know what my power situation is, I would need an average. And this average that I get then, I would in turn pipe into another chip, which is doing calculations and warning or whatever. 2,700 watts in use and 5,000 watts coming in. Actually, we are indeed... but this power network, we also have this power network, which is used 1,500 watts. 1,500, 2,700, 3,000, 4,200-ish. Yeah. So when they are pumping like this, we are net positive, but often we are not. So that's where it's holding its balance, quasi. I actually want to make another pipe analyzer and another IC10, because this thing that I currently have there in my rocket, I mean, for now I want that to be automated, and we can do that. I need a pipe analyzer, because the other one is needed for the fuel mixer. Should also bring the laptop. And then what else do we need? IC10, yeah. $21 for likes, reload. 25 for likes. Can I transport the chip somehow? I could if I hadn't acted stupid, but I can't because I did. I only have the terrain manipulator with me, so that the slot is occupied, so that I don't, you know... But and it also has an extra another large battery that I can use if, and that I also have to recharge, of course, because the code is getting to it. I will put this here in the electrics thing. Do I have enough cables? 37? Could be enough, yes. And then let's bring the chip. Everything turned off? Yep. While we're at it, let's eat something. And that's that for this bread loaf. Oh, no, it's not. Jetpack
Oxygen low.
is already half used again. Print me a housing for the rocketry. For the rockets. Rocket circuit housing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, and let's turn those lights on first. Still no storm? Nope. The lights belong here, and so does the fuel stuff. And this guy. Nice. Speaking of which, how hot is my fuel gas now? Minus 32, so it's very, very fine right now. And of course, the hotter it gets, the slower it will get hotter. Why? Because the surrounding environment is eating away the thermal energy. We are wasting electricity. Yep. In other words, if I just keep heating this, it might actually balance out at zero gain. Oh. Wow, what a moment. We just were there in that very moment when that happened. The battery had run out. I didn't even know that it wasn't being charged anymore. This video is good so far. I mean, when it comes to being lucky, timing and such. If I want to actually automate this, then I would have to... What is this?
Power low.
Then I would have to put these guys somewhere else, because I cannot get to the logic connection. The logic connection is not needed for me to see these guys from the ground. But if I want to put the chip in here and actually do something with it, then that will need the logic connection. Is what I believe, what I know, I believe, from Shadow Drake once again. 25, 4 likes. 28, 5 likes. That. Well, I guess the thumbnail is very accurate here with the smiley. Yeah. Is there a way to do this? I mean, do I even want to install these permanently in here? Probably not. But I at least want to have the option. I mean, it was very obvious that this option was needed. So yeah, maybe. But how? If I go upwards here, then I can connect one pipe heater, but then I will not have room to get from here and from here to the pipe heater, and not from here and not from there. I guess the only way to do that really is to have the pipe heater... let's see what orientations exist. This way, or vertical. Ah, vertical would be an option. I could have these in a location that is not at the very bottom of the rocket, and then I could have the cables vertical, one from the top, one from the bottom. That would solve it. So let's aim for that. Luckily, I have an extra cable heater. So I can start experimenting with this without having to take the other one off of its duty. I am building a rocket. And that's the kind of attitude I had, like, until yesterday afternoon or evening, when I suddenly realized how fucking broken this is. But then I figured out how to work around the brokenness, and then it's, well, now there's hope again. And it was so exciting to get there, to, okay, I'm using all the 6 keys above the arrow keys. It doesn't help. Let's use the auto-rotate key then, and that works. So we have a deficit here. Something's not working right. Yeah, I was... my joy of playing this game was reinvigorated. I was reminded of something that I have forgotten, so I cannot even say if that was really a reminder, but I assume that's what it was at the very beginning. When it finally had clicked with me and suddenly I saw, what, that's what this game is? That's what I can do here? That's the gameplay? Oh my god, you know? And now we have that again with rockets. Or at least I have. Okay, that thing can be turned on, and it can also be logic controlled. Once we have the chip in place, where can I put that? Here, for example. No, that is here. That would make more sense. What is this? That's powered logic connection? How can we even rotate this? Let's see. Let me sit down for a moment. So that's where the chip is, now on the right side. The rest is just fluff or boxy design or whatever. And then there's of course the power and logic connection. So we have 2 sides that are relevant, the rest is not relevant. Too bad the flashlight doesn't have a wider range, huh? I would have to build a tower here just for having lights. I don't know if this one is close enough actually to... maybe. We can see the backside, even the backside? Well, I guess that this pillar here on the far side is no longer affected. And that's about the distance that we're talking about. Diagonal, like pendulum like here. Oh, that could work. I think if I had lights on the launch tower on this side, that would shine a light in here. Yep, that could work. At least I should try that, huh? Let's try that. Alright, there they are. Can place them not in the air, but I can place them... I can place them on the launch tower, okay. They will then, of course, be on a different power network, because I'm not gonna do when I already have, you know. That it seems cool. Too many things on me. That does help. Hello. Awesome. And realistic. This is fun. Man, we're getting somewhere here. Would be nice to have a light here too. Should I make another launch tower? One on each side? I don't know. Would need a lot more cabling. I would rather say to place some walls here that have some lights on them, but by the way, what happens to these cables when I launch the rocket? Will they burn? I don't know. That may well be the case. And then eternal darkness. Temperature. Minus 4 degrees, so the answer to the question temperature is yes. So it's cooling down at 2. 0.02, and now it's heating up at... Okay, that's hot, baby. Soundtrack, you are being an asshole again. This is better. Yeah, would be good to automate this then. Where will we put the chip? This seems right. Chip would be on top and connector would be on the back. Well, one of them seems to be enough to heat this up. Depends, of course, on the mass of the gas, right? I mean, the more containers I have here, the more thermal bleeding I will have. And then one pipe heater might not be enough. Heat feeder, Feeder 1. And the other one, well, I cannot even access it. And so I'm sitting here on the ground, looking anxiously at the storm display, writing code in the cold. Clear. Define heater 1 and pipe heater.
Cinematic space. Exosphere on Soma FM.
Yes, yes, Day, you want to progress and have to go to work again tomorrow because my vacation is once again over. Yes, I know. Fuck off though, I want to do this now. By the way, something, if you have some kind of pumping sound when you're listening to videos, for example to videos of mine, when I'm speaking something and then I shut up, and then the music softly comes back, or whatever you want to call this soundtrack, as if it's getting louder again. This pumping, that's what's called pumping in, that's what we call that. We audio engineers, which I happen to not be, at least not officially, but well, I dabble. That is a setting that you have in YouTube that you can change, that they introduced at some point. And of course it might also depend on the video, but if you click on your little cog there in the video, where you can say set the quality and so forth, there's also a setting, stable volume. And that's that setting that makes sure that the overall volume will then pump slowly to that level. And I don't know what the logic there is. If, for example, if it is at a certain level, it will not pump, but only beyond. I don't know. No idea. But anyway, I turned that off today for testing purposes, and yeah, immediately that pumping effect was gone. So if that pisses you off with my videos, I'm sorry. If that pisses you off generally, then turn it off, I would say. I'm clicking on the wrong video here. So the one that I just uploaded. Pause. The one that just uploaded, there's a comment there, and I have to look at that since it's topical, isn't it? Oh, Shadow Drake, Rocket Master. Wow, that's a long comment. Let me read the long comment. So, speaking of engines and their complexity, there are different complexities to deal with on each engine. As you are most likely aware, to have minimum thrust power output from the engine, you need to keep the molar ratio of fuels in a 2:1 value. 2 volatiles, 1 oxygen. For normal fuel, and if you want to get spicy, a 50-50 ratio of volatiles and nitrous oxide. Yep, I think we all know that. So if you want to min-max the thrust for the engines, there will be something to deal with for each engine. So as far as pumped versus pressure-fed, pumped engines, so the ones that I personally do not prefer, pumped engines will always take a set amount of fuel from the connected inputs pipes. So long as you provide the correct gases, liquids, gas mix, etc., it will work well for either version. Pressure-fed engines require both the correct gas liquids, but also needs the pipes music. Can't I be lucky? We'll always take a set amount of fuel from the connected inputs. A set amount? I wonder what that exactly means. Is it something that you have to set? Is it as an absolute? Is it based upon volume, like volume pump? So long as you provide the correct gases, liquids, gas mixes, etc., it will work well for either version. Either version of the fuel, I guess. Pressure-fed engines, the ones that I prefer currently, require both the correct gas liquids, but also needs the pipes pressurized to have a high output. This adds the complexity that you need to find a way to get those pipes highly pressurized, but not so high that you break the pipes. Don't tell me about that. Pumped gas engine, so the pumped gas engine, the ones that I don't prefer, provide a fuel mix and the engine is good to run. Only things that lower your thrust here is if your fuel mix is off. Temperature has a slight but ignorable effect. So I guess that's all the things I already said, except in a way that is less unambiguous. Pumped liquid engine. Provide the separate liquids is ideal. provide the sacred liquids is ideal. This engine takes in only liquids when mixing them in its setting logic data. This allows the liquids to be pressurized with any gas, and so long as you math out the correct setting and set it, the engine is good to run. There are only 4 possible settings to try. 2 settings for normal fuel and 2 possible settings for nitrous fuel. Pressure-fed gas engine. So the one that I'm currently using. Unlike the pumped gas engine, it has 2 possible inputs. Excuse me? I am using the pressure-fed gas engine right now. It has 1 input. Unlike the pumped gas engine, it has 2 possible inputs in case you want to separate the fuels. But it is absolutely easier to have a premix fuel and then just pressurize both input pipes to high pressure. Both input pipes? This is just not true, man. You need an IC control to better keep the pressures controlled and high since you tie it to the fuel tank. As the pressure decreases, the thrust for the engine drops extremely quickly. The colder the fuel, the stronger the thrust that comes out at the cost of consuming more fuel. Well, we experienced that, didn't we? Pressure-fed liquid engine. So the same thing, but for the liquid side. This one is the tough one. That's the one I started with. 1 input and 1 heat exchanger. Yep. This engine takes mostly liquid to burn, but also takes in some pressurant gas for the burn too. Yep. This is the hardest to optimize, keeping the fuel molar ratio ideal because of that. The problem with premixing this fuel is that as the fuel depletes, more of the oxygen evaporates to fill in the missing pressure, which throws off the fuel mix ratio even worse. The heat exchange port is for warming up the engine's input fuel so that you encourage the oxygen to evaporate to get the pipe to high pressure. The heat exchange connection is optional since you found out a pressurant valve can also suffice. Well, thank you for that, but I guess I have to peruse that later and maybe devise an answer. So we are at... hello? Hello? YouTube? What are you doing to me? Come on. The page isn't loading. Okay, then it isn't. Pipe heater 1. Then I need to know what the temperature is of the pipe. For that I could use a pipe analyzer, but maybe I can also just use the already existing connection here, which is connected to that tank. Maybe this tank actually has that kind of logic. So let's see, rocket tank, liquid capsule tank medium, liquid capsule tank large, and then we have the liquid rocket fuel tank, which has a 3rd build option, the small one, and that's the one that's in this rocket currently. Later, probably not. Structure capsule tank liquid, and does it have logic value? It does. So here we can look at the temperature, and that's all I need to know. Thank you very much. Let's go. Define, so we don't need the pipe analyzer here. Hash define hash. Actually, no, the tanks I would connect all of them, so I do not need to name this. I would just read from all the tanks combined. They would all be just 1 volume, right? Isn't that so? I'm not sure. The only way to find out would be to suddenly give some pressure into the pipes, for example with the add gas command, and then meanwhile measuring if there's some kind of delay or some kind of pumping over effect. I mean, the way this thing looks, I would assume it's part of the pipe network. Load batch into R0 from tank. From the tank. Temperature sum. Subtract from R0 into R0 273.15 because I rather think in Celsius. And then write batch named. Write batch named. And that's the thing. How many and how will I turn these guys on? Maybe I could boost. If the temperature is below this and this, we turn both on. Otherwise, we turn only one on. And what if one of them doesn't exist? Then nothing will happen. So write into register the R0 into R1. Yeah, that's good. 1 and 2. into register R1, into register R2. I want to write if the temperature is less than minus 60. Actually, no, that's not true. That's for the second one. For this one, I will go to minus 20, to below 20 degrees, like the room temperature. And then I will just say pipe heater be on. Write batch named into the pipe heater 1, register R1, and the other one register R2. And I mean whether this thing is on, that's what I mean. Oh. Actually, D0, D1, D2, we could have an R2, D2 situation here. Right? Or does the D2 in all cases have to be before the R2? I don't know. So, pipe heater 1, pipe heater 2. Checking again. Pipe heater 1, pipe heater 2, pipe heater 1, pipe heater 2. Tank. Load batch from this tank into R0 the temperature, subtract from the Kelvin this, so that's 270.15, 273.15 Kelvin would be 0 Celsius. Less than, if R0, the temperature in Celsius, is less than 20, turn the motherfucker on. And here the same thing with minus 60. Yeah, that should be exactly correct. Where's the chip? But I realize I should have some protection in there, because this is not quite the answer. This is not yet perfect, because this thing will turn now on. Why is it turning on? Because the temperature in the tank is 0. I mean 0 Kelvin, because there is no tank. In other words, we can simulate here. Oh, I forgot the yield. God damn it! What the fuck's happening? Branch less than, if R0 is less than 10. I mean 0. I guess 0 would be completely appropriate, but I just want to be safe. If it's as cold as this, then who cares? 10 Kelvin. Or should I first subtract? Yeah, don't use mixed. That's what cost us the Challenger at some point, I think. Or which space shuttle got the problem? Where two different units were used by two different manufacturers. So branch if less than. If R0, the temperature, is less than minus 100 or 120, then all bets are off and we just give up. Start. Export, which should now affect that this thing will not turn on. And so it does. Now it's time to connect the two. What's the temperature right now? (13 degrees). Okay. Huh. What about the volume pump? I have a problem here with my rocket Mikado, with my rocket puzzle. If I put the pipe heater here, I could connect the pump here to the side and then somehow get the cable in there, probably from above. But then the output of the pump would be here. How do I get electricity in there then? Through this cable? No, that doesn't work. Through this through this pipe. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, I guess we can get this show on the road. Meanwhile, the fuel physically gets colder. This is actually happening right now.
Hunger critical.
And now to connect the pipes, and that should have the effect that one of the pipe heaters turns on. Only one, Vasily? Only one. For whatever reason, that's not happening though. I don't get it. I mean, this one should have turned on. It doesn't though. The other one is still missing a cable connection, but that's irrelevant. Why is this not happening? Why is the pipe heater not refusing my manual command? Is the chip programmed or not? I mean, what's happening? Are you telling me it cannot control pipe heaters? What's happening? Did I not export this or whatever? I mean, I do remember that it turned that thing on. I believe the only explanation is that I made a mistake here. I bet that if I turn this thing, if I remove this line, then it will work again. Less than. R0 less than minus 120. Huh. I mean, it did turn on earlier. Why isn't it turning on now? That's the difference. That one line was added. Is there any gas in there, by the way? Yep. I will remove this line then and see what it does. Both are turning on? That's certainly not correct. I guess I'm doing something very, very wrong here. Pause. Load batch into R0 temperature. SDB setting R0. Tell me what the fuck you're measuring there, man.
Temperature low.
Oh.
Temperature critical. Temperature low.
Zero.
Waste tank caution.
So I can only conclude it is measuring from this tank a temperature of 0 Kelvin. Why? Does the tank have to be turned on or something? Scanner, download, avionics, circuit housing is at error because there's no chip in there. Pumped gas engine, volume pump, pipe heaters. Gas capsule tank small, doesn't have any turn onableness or whatever. Can we see the temperature here? Can only use a mouse wheel. Temperature 272. Yeah, it's slightly below 0 degrees Celsius. Do I not get the value? What is my mistake? There must be a mistake. Is that the wrong tank, maybe? Yeah, let's look at the thing again. What did it say? Gas capsule tank small. Structure capsule tank liquid. Oh. Stupid. Liquid. Okay. That couldn't have worked. There's the liquid tank. Gas capsule tank small. Now it should work. And the left pipe heater should turn on. Yep. And now we'll heat that up to 20 degrees Celsius. And if it would ever have fallen very, very far, the second one should also turn on. I want to verify whether that is so. And so I will just say that the minimum temperature I allow for this one here should be 5. Export. Okay, both are turning on. I want to wait until one of them turns off automatically. That is very soon the case. I get the feeling as if it's cooling down more strongly than before. Is that because there are so many pipes in play? I should replace these with insulated pipes, man. There's also something we should be able to... Yeah. We should be able to observe. Okay, insulated pipes. And maybe recharge that battery.
Hunger caution.
I love this game. I don't know what's wrong with me, but by the way, not... Oh, you love this game? That's not wrong, it's alright, you still love this game. No, but because, I mean, yesterday I was so frustrated when this rocket thing was so fucked up, and it is fucked up, but it's not so fucked up as to, like, everything is, well, you can make it to work. I mean, just watch the video that I just made, which is a bit rambly, as per usual, because it wasn't meant to be what it is. It's not a focused such video, but at least I put timestamps, and overall it's only 40 minutes, so 33 to 6. Okay, we have 41 views, 3 comments, and 6 likes. Still over 10%, that's good. So that shows how to overcome all those bugs and when they occur. And erroneously, I thought that welcome to episode 18 of my EUROPA. Yeah, not quite. These two responses are one by Shadow Drake to himself and then someone else. Shadow Drake saying, last I recall, auto shuts everything off except batteries, avionics, and IC housings. It used to shut them off before, so it would also shut off the pressure valve or the volume pump, I guess. Yeah, he's saying it. So it would shut off your pump, but if you had pipe analyzers and pumps controlled by the IC housings, then you better have something in the logic to turn your pumps off as well until the analyzers were turned back on, or else it may overpump and break pipes. So kind of what I just did here when I said, oh, there's no tank, well then just assume 0 and then don't do anything, that kind of thing. This has been the most frustrating part of auto shut off. An additional difficulty, so that was Shadow Drake. Now, operational error, yeah, is responding. An additional difficulty in pressure-fed engines, like the ones that I currently prefer, is creating the mechanism that continues to provide sufficient pressure as your tank gets low. Yeah, got that. Regulators are great when there's a lot of pressure behind it, but don't work worth a damn when the tank gets low. So pumps, specifically the turbo, is the only consistent path. Right, upwards for the both of you, and on we move. Yeah, okay, let's see that the volume pump works again. Since there's a cable underneath, I don't have to lay another cable on top of this. You know the drill.
I am a robot. What am I doing in this rocket?
Okay, now I need to cut these cables here, but they're actually feeding the power into this system. How can I make this work? By doing this. And that should work. It does. Yeah, I mean, in a way it shouldn't, but okay. Before I do this, just a verification, can I really not build a pipe in that place there? Four-way cable corner blocks the pipe. Why do I have to pump? Why do I have to pump like this? This doesn't help me at all. I still have to wait. Oh man, this doesn't work. What does it? No, I cannot. I can lay a cable through this corner, but not in this direction or in that direction, only in this direction. So the problem is not solved. Why did I not leave the pump like this? Vertically. Because I could have a pipe from up here. I could just turn the housing to the left. That seems like a better idea.
Jetpack low.
Yeah, no, not a surprise after all this. Not a surprise. So it needs to be vertical. And since we have a cable on this side, on the left side already, pretty clearly, that is where the power connector goes. So whatever that means in regards to the where the pump will be facing, that's where it will be facing. Wrong? Right. This is what I need. I think this works.
Jetpack critical.
Aha, look at that. So let's swap out some of the pipes. Yeah, the tank is not being heated anymore. Because there's no longer a pipe connection. Huh, this could get interesting. This could actually get very interesting.
Hunger critical. Power low.
I would like to have known how hot the pipe had gotten with this little volume that was just heated there. Anyway, 21.4, and we did not lose the fuel. But we're not yet done. More pipes need to be replaced. They should really work on these hitboxes. Too often you think it should work, but it doesn't because there's some kind of invisible shield around the particular thing. So let me turn off the chip so that things can cool down a bit, because I want to see how quickly this heats up now. Yeah, I'm not yet done. Need to replace another pipe. Actually need to replace two pipes, 3. Oh, that was stupid. I just deleted some fuel. Alright.
Hydration critical.
E18. Yeah, damn, we're not in the double digits decimal places anymore. Oh. Well, that's a solution, I guess. I think that the insulated pipes are really helping. Less heat bleed. Huh. Doesn't change the fact that this guy keeps losing by convection lots of joules to the surrounding environment. But what happens if we close up the rocket? Will that still be the case? I mean, does this have a volume? It's not really easy to find out. I would have to have a gas sensor here. Oh, wait a second. I could install a gas sensor in the rocket and then maybe read out what the internal temperature of the atmosphere in the rocket is. I think we want to know that, don't we? Let's say 6? 7. Oh, 7 iron ingots. Almost 4 kilograms of iron. Let me guess. Wheat. Harvestable. Four should be enough, I think. I think we should now have 40, huh? Oh, I used that up already. Flour 90 grams. I need 200 grams to make another loaf of bread. And now I have 190. Ha ha ho. Okay. Ah yeah, the jetpack, of course.
Waste tank caution. Jetpack low. Jetpack critical. Tank critical.
Should be pure. Is pure. Why do I have one lamp with me? Because I...
Oxygen low.
What is happening? Oh. There. What? Oh, oxygen low because...
Oxygen low.
Because this guy is sucking from this room, from this area. Yeah. Funny. It's kind of hazardous, isn't it? Should be in a separate place. Lights. I want 2 lights in that fuel mixer room. Looking pretty good. All those lights, all those buildings. But still very raw. I mean, some stuff here needs some decoration. That's not for now though. Oh, it has to be placed. Oh, come on, look at that. A gas sensor. Placement is snapped to the small grid. Now if you carry that over here, placement is blocked, placement is blocked. Placement that connects to a rocket needs to be inside a fuselage or via umbilical. Is this not inside a fuselage? You cannot place gas sensors in here. Damn. Shite. I could make this less hectic, but there is no downside to having it like this. And it might actually have the upside of telling us what the temperature development is in a very speaking manner. In other words, instead of using a gas sensor, how about I weld this whole thing up and we look what the power consumption does. Maybe it changes, because maybe slowly the internal temperature of the rocket increases. That's a possibility, maybe. Here we have the load. Power actual 1000 . Turn it on and off the whole time. Well, let's close it up then. "41 views, 3 comments, 6 likes. 55 views, 4 comments, 8 likes. Cool. I guess rocketry is desired but not yet so very known, or whatever. Oh, didn't I change the set the sorting here to newest first? Shameful. I always have the newest comment at the top, because I like it better. Because I also dislike this concept of the most upvoted thing is at the top. Why? Because guess what? The thing at the top will also be the most upvoted one. People go there, read it, oh I like it, upvotes more, huh? Where's the logic in that? Yeah, let's read that comment then. Speaking of your bug discovery, Shadow Drake again, a root level comment. I want to say it is also unstable. Hilarious to see the rocket frozen in place though. Were you able to actually work on it while it is fixed in place? I didn't try this. I wonder if this shows up because you have the engine on when it has a thrust of value 0? I'm pretty sure that's not the case. So what? Music? So Shadow Drake says, so while I did some tests on a long time ago, it seems like it stores the rocket's current location and intended destination, and I guess it populates some kind of travel condition to let it know it is traveling between 2 points. I wonder if it is just broken when you do stop it in between launchpad and orbit. In other words, sorry. In other words, would it also have that problem if you travel from, I don't know, one moon to the other or so? Also possible that it shows up because you have only had 2 locations during these tests. I know that in space you can stop in between positions, but it can actually continue moving from or towards a destination and seems to keep in mind how far it traveled so so that if you reverse directions you don't have to travel the entire delta V. Which is weird, by the way. I mean, acceleration and deceleration, just because me stopping the drive, that wouldn't do that. Oh, am I misreading this? I think the only rocket travel you see is from launchpad to a stationary position, somewhere above the world, which I think Beta says is 1 kilometer now? No, it's not. So technically you should be able to see the rocket up there if you actually build a long ladder going up. Everything else seems to be kind of simulated and everything just kind of happens by the computer through numbers. Well, I think we can tell the rocket is not getting warmer. But let's leave it on, because I got other things to do and maybe it's just... maybe it will calm down. Forgot the glass again, of course. Some classical light up here. And that was of course immediately stupid. That would have been not stupid. Cable. Currently only need 1 light in here. This should go via insulated pipes in there. All of this stuff should be red. Actually, no. All of this stuff should be pink, because that is the kind of stuff that I would have in there. Volatiles have rather this color than red, and red is what I use for actual fuel. Do I need the liquid stuff? No. But I would rather keep my options open in case I ever accidentally do something stupid again. Then we need to have some fuel. Okay, this goes into the 2 tanks that I have with me. And I think that should be 3 for good measure, because then it looks better. And that will be the fuel. Right here. Insulated pipes. Wait a second. Those will be the oxygen pipes. I have more insulated pipes here, but I also want to close up the fucking door. So I need some glass. Actually made a lot of silicon, so maybe some of that can now be turned into glass. How small do we want that pile to be? $92. Or did we have some silicon in here? Silicon. No. Glass it is. It's a composite door, so it's one glass. "12 cables. I mean, don't get me started. Yeah, I need to solve this old airlock situation at some point. Could put the airlocks up there maybe, because they don't need an actual foundation. And then use the new code that I have, which even repressurizes. Cables. And then also in heavy cables. I need copper. I don't have enough copper. I need to go mining. That's it already, huh? Six may not be enough. Should have brought an extra tank. Didn't. Does feel a bit dark in here. Again, stupid. Why should I look at the cable the whole time? Oh, I haven't yet closed up the walls. Oh. Haha. So that goes straight. That would be fuel mix technically, but this is where the oxygen comes in. And this thing is already the pump, so I mean, it wouldn't be of use to have an extra pump in there just to then have a color separation section. I mean, oxygen to the back of the bus with you. I mean, these days it's the white people, huh? Hilarious. Not funny, mankind, not funny. You're saying one thing, you're doing the other. Information matters, I told you. We're entering the age of reason, and if you're not ready for that, then you will not enter it. That's how it works. Sorry. Yeah, that would have been a good opportunity to have the pipe analyzer there, but that's not the case, so but it's not straight, you know. But first you talk about race and then you talk about sexuality. Keep your politics out of the gameplay. So that goes over here. Then we need a volume pump. which is here, and a pipe analyzer on this side. And I need more insulated pipes, yeah. So, plastic sheets, insulated pipe. And dawning is morning. Well, it's not getting warmer. I would say it's not getting warmer. But I guess once it's outside the atmosphere, there's no longer a concern. That's a guess, though. That's all I have. Thinking. Plastic sheets? I don't need 50. And more insulated pipes. Just print. Batteries are relatively full, so the station on this side has recovered from me pumping so much power over to the other side. Just in time too late. Consuming more power than I'm actually storing. I need more batteries so I can survive from storm to storm. I definitely need more copper. That's one of the major concerns here. And of course I could place some more wind turbines, which would also help. But that's one of the next problems. And the temperature in here is 73 degrees? God damn it. So that's the next episode then, huh? Which will begin in a minute from your perspective, if you are actually drinking this up like unbelievable, huh? For me, it will be another day. Or will I record this later today? Hopefully, because currently I'm kind of addicted again. Wonderful game, thank you Rocket. Please fix your fucking bugs, man. I mean, what good is a project clinic in which you want to find out what it is that you guys want to do next, when the answer clearly is, look at the bug channel, it's scrolling. Fix your fucking bugs. You now have more than double. They now have more than double the permanent player audience that they had before. What am I doing? Oh, everything is evacuated. It's not a problem. So they should now focus on quality. What they put in there got a lot of more people involved. Great, but those lots more people will now also have to face these fucking bugs all the fucking time. And that is just wrong, man. Does that have to be explained? I guess I should put it here. Yeah, that seems like not like the right idea. Maybe I should also put some of these guys over here. Some? Well, it could only be one. To get this volume bigger, because there's wall here, so to speak, that the gas slowly has to get through. What's happening? So it's relatively late already, I mean, for me, and oh right, I'll connect some more cables, but then I will shut this down. And then we continue in episode, is it 19? I think so, this is 18, right? Yeah, it's 18. Thank God I got these bugs figured out with the rockets, so... Oh, I thought there was a significant amount of fun that was being lost here. For example, me no longer wanting to play the motherfucker at all. Because if that is really what their attitude is, putting something as big as a major, as a rocket update in there, and then that completely not working, which it really doesn't, but you can work around the bugs. I mean, it is working, yes, but god damn it, is it buggy. See you again next time.